alone, busy playing on your phone. See, math was never hard for me. Subtract the thugs.
What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, aka That Cadillac Guy, coming to you as always from the Ratty Garage. This time with no Cadillac behind me because I'm cleaning the Ratty Garage. It's a hot mess, therefore I'm a hot mess. It's hot outside. But anyway, bringing you another crazy story. This story has a sad ending, and there's a lot of little stories about this person I'm going to tell you about. So I'm just going to tell you all these little stories, then you can put it all together. But anyway, I met this new guy at school. I was probably a junior in high school, and a new guy was coming around, and you know, he found his way to our little circle, usually people who have like-minded hobbies like smoking and drinking, you know, kind of gravitate toward each other. But you know, I met this guy, and he was kind of a standoffish dude, but he was an okay guy, you know. He liked to party and everything. So one day, and again, there's a bunch of little stories. He invited me and my friend Bob. Now, if you remember Bob, he's the guy who trashed the work truck. He's like, hey, y'all two should come over to my house and swim. You know, I got a pool, it's chill, and we were like, cool. So we took him up on his offer, and it was just him and his mom. His mom was older. I would say back then even, she was maybe in her 60s. But she owned a bar a couple towns over, and she wasn't around hardly ever, and they had this beautiful house with a nice pool, and this kid pretty much had the run of the place. And he was like, hey, come on over. We're like, cool. So anyway, me and Bob went over and swam and drank and had fun, and you know, it was a cool evening. So on the way home, me and Bob had a little Gremlin with a little 302 that I think would fly for a little car. But anyway, of course it ran out of gas because we were broke. Bob never had gas. And we were walking, we had to walk home on Highway 32 drunk. We were goofing around. I hit a street sign or stop sign or road sign or something and cut my hand all open. And I just gotten a brand new shirt. My buddy Chris and his family had just went to the Bahamas, and he brought me back a shirt. And I was like, that's cool, dude. So I had to take this shirt and wrap it around the thing with blood everywhere. So that was our first time hanging out with this dude. But it was fun there, but it sucked on the way home. So anyway, you know, I got to hang out with this dude a little bit. And there was a big concert coming up, Boston, and I can't remember who opened for him, but he was like, hey man, we need to go to this show. I was like, yeah, dude, that'd be awesome. And at the time he was driving like a little, like a Mustang fastback. It was like a 68. It was a pretty nice little car. But he said, yeah, let's go. So I said, cool. So we're getting ready to go to the show, and he said, hey, I want to stop by my mom's little bar and pick up some booze. I was like, cool. So he said, come on in, you know, I'll let you meet my mom. I was like, okay. So, you know, I mean, it's a bar, we're not supposed to be in there, but we go in the back. And he's like, hey mom. He said, we're getting ready to go to Indy. He said, I'm just gonna grab something back there. She's like, what are you grabbing? He said, I'm just gonna get a bottle of this. And she said, no, you're not gonna, you know, no, absolutely not. And, you know, we've all been a little disrespectful to our parents here and there, back mouth and this and that. Well, this kid just went in on his mom, cussing her out, calling her every name in the book. I was just like, whoa. I was like, dude, you know, let's just go, calm down. That's really not cool. So anyway, we left, we didn't get any booze, and he was really mad. So we go to the show. You know, Boston was amazing, they're amazing. We were really close, it was like fourth row. Great concert. Well, about 3/4 of the way into the show, he said, hey man, I'll be back, I'm gonna go pee. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm sitting there and I'm just enjoying the show, and all of a sudden, you know, it's been 30, 40 minutes. He's never come back. And, you know, Boston's like, good night, we'll see you next time. I'm like, where's my ride at? Where's this dude at? You know, the lights go up, and I'm sitting there like, oh, man, what's going on? So I'm kind of freaking out. This is pre-cell phone, all that stuff. I was like, wow, I'm stuck here in Indianapolis. What am I going to do? So I said, well, let me just go try to find him. You know, I know where the car's parked, kind of. So let me go find it. So I make my way to where I think the car is. And sure enough, there's the car, and he's getting a jump start. You know, this dude's getting ready to jet. I'm like, dude, like, what's going on? He said, yeah, the car won't start and get a jump. I said, where have you been? He said, I wasn't feeling too good, so I just came out to get some fresh air, and then I was just gonna sit out here and wait on you. And I was like, this dude, if he would have started his car, he was out. I know it. And I was just like, wow, okay. So it was kind of weird, but we got home, and it was just like, okay, that's strange. So another time, my friend Bob, I was talking to him, he said, man, I went over to, I'll just call him Jim. I went over to Jim's house and something really weird happened. I was like, what's going on? He said, we were just hanging out in his room, listening to music, partying. He said, Jim got up, said, I'll be back in a minute. And Bob said he sat there and sat there and sat there, and this dude just never came back. So Bob was like, what's going on? So Bob, they had a big old house. Bob said, I'm gonna go find this dude. So he went and found this dude. He was sitting back at their kitchen table with a bottle of whiskey just sitting there. And Bob was like, what's going on? You're not gonna share that whiskey? What's going on? He's like, oh yeah, I was just getting ready to come in. I was just sitting here, just chilling. Bob was like, okay. So it was just, Bob said it was just a very weird vibe and so on and so forth. So one day, he invited me to the house. Hey, come over and hang out, we'll party. He's like, cool. Once again, we're sitting in his room, listening to the records, hanging out. And he said, I'll be right back. And he's like, okay, he leaves. And I'm thinking about back in my head, I remember he did this to Bob and he jetted. I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. I was like, what is going on with this dude? Is he out there drinking whiskey again, whatever? And so I'm sitting there on his bed thinking, and I could, he had his door shut, but he had a keyhole, like it was an old house, and I could kind of see some movement there. And I was like, what's going on? Is this dude, So I get up, and then this dude comes in like, hey, what's up? And I was like, dude, where you been? And he said, oh, I had to blah, blah, blah. So at that point, I was like, okay, this dude is a little bit weird. I don't know if I'm cool hanging out. Look over here, like this is kind of weird. So another time, we were up at the high school playing basketball. I was out playing basketball, me and some other dudes. And he pulled up in a brand new 1978 Camaro Berlinetta. Berlinetta at that time was the top of the line Camaro, just not really performance-wise, but just option-wise. It had power, everything, leather, everything. Just at the time, it was just a super nice car. I was like, dude, where'd you get to? He said, yeah, my mom bought it for me. And I was like, golly. He said, you want to ride? I was like, yes, let's go. So I got in, he takes off flying out of the parking lot. And it took me about 2 seconds to realize this dude was smashed. Like I could smell alcohol in his eye. I was like, oh, bro. I said, hey, man, I'm going right here. Why don't you drop me off right here? I was like, you're too drunk to drive. It's a brand new car. He's like, I'm fine, dude. I was like, no, man, you let me out right here, dude. I'm not, I've had enough of this mess. So he let me out. He peels off driving crazy. And I'm like, golly, this dude's got a brand new car and he's out driving drunk in it. So, and another time, this was real late at night. It was probably, I want to say 2 in the morning. I don't know why. Me and my dad were both up. We probably just got home from being out of control. But we're sitting there and we hear a car pull up and honk the horn. I'm like, what? And I look out and it's Jim in his brand new Camaro. I'm like, what in the world is he doing here at this hour? I was like, let me go check this dude out. So I go out, like, Jim, what's up? And he's wasted again, like super wasted. I'm like, bro, man, you can't be driving like this. I was like, won't you just come in and you sleep for a couple hours and just chill here for the night? I said, he's like, no, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you give me the keys, dude. I said, this is not cool. You really need to give me your keys. And he just wouldn't do it. And at the time, he was parked right behind, I had a 71 Camaro. And he was parked right behind it. And he had bumped into my car and broke the little Camaro emblem off his brand new car. And I was like, dude, please stop. What are you doing? You couldn't talk no sense to him. He's like, I'm out of here. And he backed up and just flew out of my neighborhood. And I was like, man, that's not cool. So it wasn't 5 minutes later, me and my dad sitting there. And of course, it was summertime. We had all the windows up. We hear, woo, woo, all these sirens. We looked at each other and I was like, that's him, man. That's not good. So I got in my car and kind of went out around the neighborhood. And I was just a little ways down the highway. I could see all the sirens and everything. And what happened was, there was another guy from our town who had a paper route. Like, he would deliver early morning papers. Like, he would get up at the crack of dawn and be delivering papers at like 4 in the morning or whatever, just super early. And he would drive on the other side of the road, because at this time of night on a little 2-lane highway, there was never anybody out there. Or if anybody was out there, they would see you from a mile away. Well, he was out delivering papers, and he was on the other side of the road putting papers in mailboxes. And Jim came through there flying and just smashed into him and just totaled both cars, really hurt the other guy. Jim had a couple scratches on him, but it was just like, man, this is really bad. This is really bad news, man. This guy's got a problem that he needs to address. And we're 17 years old. So that leads me up to the final part of the story. He was hanging out at his house again with some other guy, a younger guy than us. I know of him. I don't really know him well. Again, this dude is sitting in their room. This dude jets, and he's like, and this, I never spoke to this dude directly, but I spoke to people who had spoken to him directly, and he told them this is what happened. So he's like, I'm gonna go look for this dude. What's going on? So he goes out and finds the dude in the kitchen with a bottle of whiskey, but this time with a pistol on the table. And he was like, dude, what are you doing? What's going on? And he said, Jim looked up and said, I'm drinking whiskey and playing Russian roulette, grabbed the pistol, slammed it, boom, blew his head off. And this kid obviously was like freaked out. He just ran out of the house. Apparently his mom was home, but she was in another part of the house, and I don't know if she got up or whatever. I don't know the fallout of how they went and got him and everything. But this kid killed himself playing Russian roulette at 17, 18 years old. You know, this kid had everything you could ever want: a beautiful house, pool, new cars. But he just was caught up in drugs and alcohol, and just obviously there was something wrong with him to be behaving the way he was. Because, you know, my crew liked to party and everything, but we're never doing that. Like, never, ever, ever doing that. So it was really sad. You know, I got to know this dude pretty well. And, you know, it was really a sobering experience. Just like, whoa, like, this dude is gone. And just the way he did it was just horrible. And, you know, horrible for this other kid to have to witness it right in front of him. I can't even imagine. If that would have been me, ooh, you know, it could have been me. It could have been Bob, you know. Who knows what he was doing out there. I think he was also just lonely, maybe. Like, he felt good having somebody there with him, but he didn't really want to be with it. I don't know. It's so weird. I can never really wrap my head around it. But that's a crazy story for sure. It's not a good, happy story, but it's true, and there it is. So I hope I didn't bum out your Friday. But anyway, I've got some new ideas for the channel. I've been thinking about the channel and things I want to do, and there's some changes coming. I hope you'll stick with me and follow it and support the channel. We need to get our subs up. We need to get our subscribers up. I got 37 subscribers. Come on, man. 37? This other dude I follow on YouTube, his brother started a channel just out of nowhere, has like 0 content. Now his brother's pretty popular. This dude's got 5,000 followers and doesn't have one video. I'm like, come on, man. I got 37. Anyway, I appreciate those who do watch. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button, all that stuff that you do. I think I've got another little thing I'm going to be working on. As you know, I'm Hoosier native. I got my Colts hat on today. I was thinking about a lot of things about, like, you might be a Hoosier if, and I thought of some really funny ones. This one is going to be dated. This one's probably for anybody over, I don't know, 40. So all my people are probably not. But you might be a Hoosier if you grew up watching Sammy Terry. And for those of you who are my age, you know what's up with Sammy Terry. It was scary stuff back in the day. So if you remember Sammy Terry, watch it, put some comments in, talk about it. It's definitely a local thing. I know it wasn't nobody else. It's definitely a Hoosier thing. But I've got some other ideas about that I might put on here at the bottom. But anyway, I appreciate everybody's time. And in the meantime, y'all, if you don't do anything else, please never drive faster than your angels can fly. Thank you. I'm out.
You're alone, busy playing on your phone. See, math was never hard for me. Subtract the thugs.